What's up everybody, AnimeX here, and in this video I will be adding yet another part into the What If Naruto was an Otsutsuki series. This is due to the usual and obvious reasons that I usually post, continuously post a series. I said I was going to not post another What If series till I did this one till completion, and so far the experiment is going very good. So here we are with another part. As usual, I'll be recapping the last part of the series before jumping into the new material. So without further ado, let's get started. Now, just like usual, in the last part of this series, a lot has happened. We went through quite a bit of things, right? Went through a little bit of story stuff, a little bit of Naruto's development, right? We went through the idea of Naruto going back to the town where he first met Asahi, who was the first kind human, or kind really person or being that he'd ever interacted with on Earth. Everything up to that point had just been Biju, or no interaction whatsoever. After this, we went on to basically talk about what happened at the 5 Kage Summit, right? We basically continued on with that, the storyline for that, right? We wrapped up the 5 Kage Summit in a nice, neat little bow, and then left off with the Akatsuki, and more specifically, Orochimaru and Sasori being sent on a mission to assassinate the Kage of the Leaf Village, Hiruzen. So that's where we're going to jump into the story. Now, like I said, we last left off with Pain, along with the rest of the Akatsuki, preparing to royally mess with the Kage and their plans in order to take the Biju, make the world experience the pain that Nagato has felt, and take every single person that can be in their way out, all in one concise plan. The first part of this plan being the extermination of the current Kage and making sure to take them all out. The first of the Kage that is planned on being taken out is the strongest, the Hokage of the Leaf Village, Hiruzen Sarutobi. As Hiruzen is currently on a mission of his own, Orochimaru and Sasori are being deployed in order to assassinate him and break apart the connections between the Leaf Village and all the other villages, along with sparking distrust between all the Kage, which is Pain's, or more accurately, Madara Uchiha's plan. Now, as Hiruzen is heading to the Bloody Mist village, he is lost in thought, trying to consider how he should explain to the villagers how not only their Kage, but their Jinchuriki was slaughtered at the Kage Summit as well. The way he sees it, there's only one true path that he can take. Tell the truth. Tell them that Yagura was manipulated into trying to kill the Kage by a Genjutsu strong enough to take over a perfectly linked, perfect Jinchuriki. And if they don't believe him for obvious reasons, well, he knows what he should do, although the weight of such a heinous act on his soul might outright send him into despair and might send him spiraling into a wave of depression and just any agony, something like akin to Danzo. Now, as he thinks about this, as he considers this possibility, he tries to rule it out of his mind, thinking of the will of fire that Tobirama and even the predecessor before that, Hashirama, had fought for so much, and tries to push the thoughts of killing and murdering and senselessness out of his mind. No, it mustn't come to that. I'll make them believe in me no matter what. Now, as Hiruzen is running all of this through his mind, running these simulations and calculating all of this, Orochimaru and Sasori have already caught up to him and are within range to attack at full speed and bow in order to catch him off guard. Sasori gets his Haruko shell's tail pointed directly at Hiruzen's heart, and Orochimaru regurgitates his Kusanagi blade and gets it ready, soaked in his master's blood. Now, even in these almost silent movements, Hiruzen detects a presence and senses someone's killer intent towards him, and can't help but smirk. Bloodlust, huh? Haven't felt something like this aimed towards me in years. Hiruzen then sends chakra to his nose to amplify his sense of smell, similarly to how the Inuzuka clan would. And then, the moment of perfection for assassination appears. Just before they strike, Hiruzen pinpoints the location of his enemies, all without either Sasori and Orochimaru noticing a thing. Now, as soon as this moment comes, as soon as Sasori and Orochimaru think that it is their time to attack, They leap from their trees and leap from their hiding spots, using body flicker to amp their speed even more, And before another sound is made, before Hiruzen can even make a peep or them, the sight of blood comes flying in front of Orochimaru and Sasori. They see that their attack connected cleanly, both of them piercing him in lethal positions. The Haruko shell piercing Hiruzen's stomach, and Orochimaru's Kusanagi blade going straight through Hiruzen's heart. They see that their attacks connected, and Sasori then picks up the body of Hiruzen and throws him over his shoulder. Come on, Orochimaru. Let's go. The mission is over. Orochimaru just stays kneeling at the spot where his blade once had pierced Hiruzen's body, and just a single strange tear falls down his face and onto the ground. Oh, Orochimaru, I didn't take you as the type, or the sentimental type, the type to care for others. I thought you had thrown all that away. Sasori just says this in a very sarcastic voice, and Orochimaru stands up. I'm just disappointed, that's all. Old age is truly what did him in, not us. Now, Sasori and Orochimaru then rush off back to the Akatsuki's hideout in order to show Pain the body of Hiruzen and Sarutobi and report back for more missions. After a few hours of traveling, they finally do arrive at the hideout. The assassination is over. We took him by surprise and stabbed his heart and stomach along with poisoning him. Sasori then tosses Hiruzen's body onto the ground with a thud. Good job. To take out such a massive threat to our plan so quickly is nothing else than impressive. If you two were able to kill him so easily, I bet any of us could have done that. Orochimaru then turns to Hidan, who had just said that, and smiles. If you think you had the speed to kill the old man, you are clearly mistaken, Hidan. Hidan then starts swinging his scythe wildly and dangerously as he looks at Orochimaru. You want to test how fast I am? Is that something you really want to do? I'll offer you up to Jashin right now. Enough! Pain's voice booms and echoes throughout the cave as he stops both of their movements with just his mere presence. We have what we need, a dead Kage at our feet. Now after this, we can collect the Biju, ignite this war, and cause pain throughout the entire shinobi world. Now, as soon as Pain finishes his sentence, Hiruzen's body disappears in a plume of smoke, revealing that this was a shadow doppelganger and a substitution, confusing everyone. And then, just as fast as this confusion takes hold of everybody's body, Hiruzen rushes down at Pain, since he determined that he was the leader, and he throws a kick, and that at this angle should be completely impossible to dodge. But just before it connects, just before he takes Pain's head off, some invisible force repels this attack and sends Hiruzen flying into a nearby wall. What was that jutsu? I was just about to connect when I was sent flying. Hiruzen then sets his sights on every other member of the Akatsuki, assessing the battle and preparing himself accordingly. But for the time being, knows that he needs a bit of time to change his chakra or charge it to its maximum and change it into his battle capacity. Orochimaru, I'm quite disappointed that even you, my star pupil, cannot detect that I substituted out of your slow, very telegraphed attack and replaced myself with a clone. Looks like it was old age, nor you, that killed me, huh? Orochimaru's face then moves upward into a smile, a crooked smile, a twisted smile as he sees Hiruzen like this, and ready to fight him. Hiruzen's face is a grim expression in stark contrast to a student. I failed you and my village before. I let you go down this dark path due to my leniency, but that ends here. I'll stop you all. I'll stop this horrible organization, even if it brings me to my dying breath. Hiruzen then summons his staff, his Noibo staff, and leaps at Pain once more, ready to fight, and fight till his dying breath. Now, as this happens, and as we see this happen, as the fight commences, Black Zetsu decides that it's a good time for him to leave and let the rest of the Akatsuki handle this, and so he does, shifting our perspective from Hiruzen's fighting the Akatsukis to Naruto, who is currently relaxing and just resting in the fields right outside of the town, waiting for his first lesson of becoming human, and more importantly, waiting for his first true, lengthy interaction with Asahi. And now, as he's waiting for this interaction, he's thinking about all the possibilities that can come from it. The ability to get his Rinnegan, all of that stemming in his head, circling back. And he really considers the power that he could possibly gain from this. How this could affect his clan, and how can this affect his mission here on out. And as he's lost in thought, as he's deep in his own head, he hears something, or he senses something. He senses Black Zetsu approaching him, and his thoughts are shaken up, and he scowls. Zetsu, what are you doing here? Zetsu flops over to Naruto before approaching him, and forming into his normal humanoid version of himself. No hello? How rude of you, Naruto. Naruto raises an eyebrow to Zetsu's nonchalant attitude and throws him to the ground with his hand. I asked you a question, Zetsu. Why are you here? Do you have information for me? Zetsu just chuckles in his unnerving voice and speaks to Naruto in a clearly patronizing tone. Can I not just come to visit my favorite Otsutsuki member? Just dropped by to say hello. I'll speak with you after your little human meetup. This is something you'll want to hear and something that'll might mess with your head a bit, so have fun. I'll wait. Naruto just scoffs at Zetsu and runs to town in order to meet up with Asahi. As Naruto walks into town, his mind wandering and trying to think about what Zetsu could possibly be wanting him to tell him at the end of the day, and Naruto's so lost in thought, so caught up in his own ideas, that he actually ends up running directly into and bumping into Asahi, who was right in front of him. Oh, sorry, didn't see you there. Naruto puts his hand on the back of his head as he nervously laughs, and Asahi just chuckles at him. Now, as the two walk through the streets of the town, Naruto goes first, explaining his clan's culture, and through many weird attempts tries to explain why he himself is chalk white, along with the eyes that have grown too large to hide on his hands, being the Rinnegan that have been slowly but surely developing over time. In rebuttal to all of this and all this talk, he and Asahi talk and continue with the first lesson that Naruto gets from Asahi, when she talks about violence between people and her view on violence, and overall the human view on violence, seeing it as rather vulgar and not something that people should resort to. And this is where Naruto kind of gets an idea of the really differing ideals between Otsutsuki and humans. Whereas Otsutsuki judge themselves purely based on their strength, only shinobi, the warrior type of humans, seem to base themselves or base their value off of strength. Regular people, or civilians, as Asahi had called it, don't consider their value solely based upon the strength that they have, but rather their personality and other assortment of seemingly arbitrary things that Naruto can't possibly seem to have put a value on up until now. Now, after a bit of serious talk and after just a bit of culturing Naruto, the two just enjoy each other's company throughout the day. After the sun starts to set and darkness starts becoming more and more prevalent, Naruto and Asahi's joking and laughing nature slow down a bit. Asahi does end up excusing herself and says that next week, her and Naruto should be able to hang out again just like they did today, and Naruto nods with a large smile on his face when she says this. So, the two bid each other adieu, and Naruto waves at her before slowly getting up and walking back in order to meet up with Zetsu and gain the information that Zetsu had been trying to hold over his head, or I guess, mention briefly. Now, as he prepares himself mentally to go head-to-head with Zetsu, the bright, warm, genuine smile that he had on his face and had held starts warping into something more like a serious grimace. Naruto then finally reaches the outskirts of the village and sees Zetsu standing off in the distance. In a mere instant, Naruto applies chakra into his legs and appears over next to Zetsu before casually sitting down in the grass. What is it that you wanted to talk about? Zetsu, seeing Naruto sit down, decides to do the same thing and sits next to Naruto, seeming to not have the same reverence as he did in the first few encounters, and being a little bit more calm and collected near him. I have some information for you, Naruto. Of course you do. So just get right into it, Zetsu. Get to the point. You swore that you'd explain who you'd work with last time we met, and I expect you to fulfill that promise. Zetsu then smirks at Naruto's straightforward attitude and smiles. I work for an organization called the Akatsuki. We have a mission that directly conflicts with yours, which is why I was hesitant to warn you of this, but I've made a decision that may intrigue you if not anger you in some way. Naruto stands up slowly, raising his chakra levels as Zetsu's tone starts changing from that of closer and more friendly to a bit more hostile. What is this decision, Zetsu? Well, you see, I've decided that in order to bring back Kaguya, Otsutsuki, obtain the Biju, and accomplish all of your goals, even to increase your own power, you will work with the Akatsuki and help move both of our plans forward simultaneously. Naruto then just walks closer to Zetsu, with no expression on his face until they are standing side by side. Did you just tell me what to do, Zetsu? Because that didn't sound like a suggestion. Zetsu then turns himself face to face with Naruto once more, with his stance, face, and body language showing that he has no fear for Naruto. It didn't sound like a suggestion because it wasn't one. You and I both know that in this dynamic, you have no power, you have no knowledge, you have no leverage, and you certainly have no bargaining chips with me. And you will listen if you know what is good for you, and you know what's best in your interests. Naruto's eyes widen in surprise when Zetsu says this and when he hears the boldness that Zetsu has, and then just blatantly laughs in Zetsu's face. You think that you and your Akatsuki could ever threaten me and Otsutsuki? No one alive has chakra levels, has a battle power, or anything near anything that could ever worry me. So you and your group has no power, Zetsu. I have all the power. Remember that. Naruto then turns around and starts walking off. Zetsu then just reveals an evil smile, an evil smirk, and speaks, calling out to Naruto once more, stopping him in his tracks. We can't kill you, Naruto. We can't even harm you. You are correct on that. But you know what we can do? You know what is within our grasp? Kill that friend of yours. Or even kill the Biju that are so vital to your Otsutsuki mission. So vital to you completing the one thing that you have. And so vital to even reviving Kaguya and fulfilling any part of your mission. So let me ask you. Who has no power? Naruto this time just completely stops. His feet don't move. His heart thumps in his chest. And his brain seems to just completely shut off. And then Naruto's eyes turn slit-like. He starts squeezing his fists in an arrogant rage. His body turns rigid. And he turns around, staring down Zetsu as these words calmly leave his mouth. What did you say to me? Repeat it, Zetsu. Zetsu just stays silent and Naruto continues to stare. I'll kill you right here. Right now. Naruto then starts stomping over to Zetsu, his chakra and anger flailing wildly as each step he takes cracks and shakes the very earth that they are both standing on. Naruto's arm then speedily outstretches towards Zetsu's throat and grabs it, starts before crushing him. And as Naruto's grip closes around Zetsu's neck and Zetsu starts gasping, Naruto's mind flashes back to what Asahi had told him about violence and how humans had looked down upon it, and how she personally feels about it. But Naruto, in his fit of rage, shoves this idea aside and continues to squeeze his arms and fist and grip until Zetsu's neck gives way and crunches. Then, he releases his body and drops Zetsu to the ground. His breathing then slows down as his hand drops next to his side, and just as he's about to turn around, Zetsu's body coalesces back into its normal form and stands up before Naruto's very eyes, displaying a form of immortality that Zetsu seems to hold. You cannot kill me through normal means, Naruto. As a part of Kaguya, sealing me is the only way to get rid of me. So I ask again, who has no power in this dynamic? And that, everybody, is where I'm going to end part 9 to the What If Naruto is an Otsutsuki series. I hope you guys enjoyed. I do really hope that this part sounded interesting and was, just overall developmentally interesting for you guys. I did end up having to record, the main body part of the video, all again, just because, I don't know, the recording the first time corrupted, so that's nice. Tomorrow, we're going to be doing something a little special. Not necessarily a special video, but it's going to be a live stream. I know I usually, when I do live stream, it's only 1, maybe 2 hours. But I will be posting details on the community tab. that I'll be streaming for quite a bit longer than that. I'll get all the details down there, but just letting you guys know, expect that. I'll explain what that is, kind of interact with you guys in these somewhat troubling times, right? Just talk to y'all, see how y'all doing, that kind of stuff. If you guys enjoyed the video, I would appreciate you, right, hitting the like button, right, just showing that support in the comments, and just hitting the like button in general. It does help the video get out there a little bit. YouTube, it's been a little weird lately. Yeah. So I'll leave links to my social media and all that kind of stuff in the description below. That includes my my Instagram, my Twitter, my Discord, all the good stuff, the ways you can interact with me on a personal level, all down in the description below. All right. Like I've hinted at last part, still working on the other series in the background, right? This series is going to continue as usual, even though it's kind of heading towards its finale at a rather interesting rate, right? The next series, I intend to blow this one out of the water, and, so on and so forth. It just constant progression. That is the arc that I'm currently on. So, hope you guys are going to be there for that arc, all right? So, yeah. As usual, right? I hope you guys enjoyed the video. And as always, guys, this is Anime X signing off.